Our zone really helped us again in the second half against a team that was hard to deal with the guards and spreading you out and driving and kicking. And certainly zone helped us. I thought our offensive efficiency throughout the game was pretty high. But they were hard to deal with in man-to-man. And but zone kind of changed the complexion. I thought Matt Ryan and Matt Farrell really gave us great stuff off the bench. To kind of help us. So I think, they're a team that won 20-some games last year. I think they got a chance to do that in the Missouri Valley. So I'm happy. We've won 3 in a row here since Orlando. I think we've gotten a little better. And now we go into exam mode, and we'll deal with Indiana later in the week.
Not happy with the effort early? Just the energy kind of sluggish?
Maybe. No, I was happy with it, because then you'll write something like I was unhappy. You may write that anyway.
That's already.
That's already. He was.
But
You seem to get upset.
How is the sluggishness because of what you guys have had to deal with academically last year?
Yeah, maybe.
Get back in
Yeah, maybe some of that. There's some. I think because it's so darn warm too. I mean, the building. The locker room was warm where we ate this morning. It was an interesting day, they kind of had us on our heels. I was disappointed because we came out of a timeout and got it to 8, and you thought maybe you could get control before half, and they come right back. And I thought we were just really poor defensively. We lost guys. We didn't, we switched stuff we shouldn't have switched. And I really challenged them. I said, I don't understand. And we said we're going to start man, and we're not going to switch stuff. And we still couldn't guard them, so we went zone. Amen for zone.
Your 19-3 run there in the second half was the 2 guards, Beecham, Colson, and Ryan. It seemed like you get length out of those guys, even when you don't have Augustin.
We do. It's a pretty good offensive group. It really is. I think it was a tough day for Zach. They were going to double him all the time. I think he started making some good decisions, but I think it wears on you over time when the double comes. But that's something we're going to have to work with him on, because Virginia's going to do it, and other people are going to do it. But that lineup is pretty potent. That kind of got going, and then they were pretty good in zone because they're long enough still.
Are you concerned at all that your team they struggle in man and they know that they can fall back on zone? You know what I'm saying?
Not really. I think we got to keep challenging them and maybe get the right group in there depending on game to game as far as playing man. But no, I mean, if you were to ask them. They don't want to play zone sometimes. They want to. It's like a merit. No, we will get a stop in man. We're getting a stop in man, and sometimes I've had to say, no, we're gonna ride this a while because it's really working.
And as you look at the evolution of the zone, where are you getting better? What
our back line, the middle guy, Zach Bonds, we're doing a real good job of when to come up and play the free throw line jump shot guy, when to fake and get back. I think we've covered 3-point shooters pretty good with our key guys. We've rotated out. The one thing about it, and you saw it in the second half, it's a complete different rhythm playing against it. And we saw it with Illinois, and we saw it the second half tonight, where now all of a sudden some different guys are having to make decisions with the ball, and they're not coming off a ball screen, and so now a 4-man has to make a pass or a shot from the elbow every two or three possessions. And maybe not, he's not real comfortable doing that. So
the press, you did quite a bit of that. Is that something you were going to throw in regardless?
Yeah. We've always, when we've been in zone, we like to extend it. We extend it with that little tempo press, and it's kind of a 1-2-2 look. If we can get a steal, we'll get one. D, I think, cheated one and got one. We don't really trap. We just want you to make some basketball decisions. Some people, you'll get turnovers because they'll brain lock and won't make a basketball decision. You may go through a passing lane and D got a deflection. But as soon as they get to half court, we're back to 23. And I think, with the new shot clock, there was a lot of talk in the summer as coaches where you're having to take some time off the clock getting it up against the tempo press. So that eats up some clock because you got to play this way a little bit. You just can't come up the floor. Now you get it across and you got to play against the zone. And now that takes more time. So I think that is an interesting rhythm to be in, to use the shot clock to your advantage against teams.
When it's tied at 25 and there's no energy in the building at all, How do you generate that energy? How do you get it going?
Yeah, I kind of got on their backsides in the timeout. I felt, and I've not really had to do that with them. I just, I got home. I thought we took some really bad shots that led to transition buckets. We took some quick shots. Come out, we get a really nice run, and but then then we kind of fall back again. Maybe not as great shots. We lose shooters. They get a bucket right before half. I went zone right before half, and I was just, it was like putting fingers in a dike at that point because we were bleeding. Let's get to halftime and try and figure it out. I thought Matt Ryan really energized, both Matts, but especially Matt Ryan really energized us tonight.
How big was it for his confidence just to have a game like that? Matt Ryan?
He did that at Iowa, off the bench, double figures. He just really believes. He's a tough guy, tough kid. He had a big steal in the midst of that run, too. But he's just a weapon that we will have to play, and he may end up playing more and more because it's an amazing weapon, the shot. But he's not a liability defensively. He's got good size. You see, he throws his body around. He's a physical kid. So we got to keep grooming him, and he needs to be on the floor for us because he's a key.
And then the other question I had was just, with them having to balance exams and getting ready for IU, just how do you kind of aid them in that as a coach?
Well, my biggest thing is I don't want them worried about basketball. We'll get till Wednesday. We're going to practice Wednesday at 1. We may not have everybody. We may be there for an hour and 15 minutes. Usually by Thursday, we're going to go Thursday night. Guys are starting to finish, and you have a little bit more of a focus. I'm realistic. My goal is if I can have Thursday and Friday, I got them back, I'll take that, and then we'll head on down the road.
You used the term the other day, junkyard dog for Colson. Did he advance that?
Yeah, I thought he was. He's, playing around the bucket. I thought he drove it early, got fouled. Now again, when you take Zach out, you put Matt Ryan in for him. He gets very effective when we're playing him like we played him last year. Okay, now you're in there you're the lone big, and we got 4 guys that can really stretch the floor. That was the lineup that kind of finished the Iowa game, and that was the lineup. That was probably the most efficient lineup in the first half and in the second half when he was the lone big with 4 guys who could stretch it.
Since the season started, have you seen Matt Ryan develop on the defensive end as well?
Yeah, but I thought he'd be more of a liability than he was when we practiced in June. I said, he's probably a shooter. We're going to really have to cover him up, and nope, he takes a lot. He's tough, man. There's a great toughness about him, and he's physical. He gets his chest on people. He knows how to rotate over and help his teammate. A lot of young players don't know how to do that. He can rebound. He's got a big body. He goes in there and rebounds. So he was ahead of where I thought he'd be defensively, and he's picked up teaching and coaching. Again, playing him on the back line of the zone. I thought he was good back there. I was trying to evaluate him back there because he could be in, with Steve and Demetrius up top and him back there. He's got good instincts.
In addition to, you've added more zone in over the first 9 games, and we're seeing Ryan get more minutes. What other things are on your radar that we could look at for the next 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, maybe, that you think could be added to your team?
Well, I think you're still developing Matt Farrell, how to use Torres, but an open mind to everybody else. Pfluger's got a motor about him, to keep evaluating that. We're going to be playing against some really big bodies after the new year. Martin Gebbin. How do we keep everybody engaged? So I think you're still analyzing some stuff. The one thing we're going to do, we did it a little bit in practice the last 2 days, but we're going to do it for both guys. We were doubling Zach because that's what we were going to see. And I referred to it as, it's a frustration test segment of practice. For 15 minutes, we're going to go 5-on-5 offense in the half court, but we're going to add one thing. We're going to double him when he catches it in the low post, and we're going to double Demetrius Jackson off every ball screen. And I want to see how they handle it. Do they get frustrated? Do they get pissed? Because they're going to see a lot of that, especially in league play. People taking those 2 guys away. So I think we have to have a potential frustration 5-on-5 segment with the big 2. And I want to see how they handle it. And, we weren't very, we got frustrated, when was it? 2 days ago. Got a little frustrated going half court in a double, and we threw a couple away. But I think a couple times a week, Wednesday, we're going to do it for 15 minutes. Okay, what you got, fellas? You got to find other ways to be effective, and because as we get to league play, it's going to be really, they're going to come after those two guys, and I think we got to get them more mentally ready for that, and not to be affected or not to feel, well, I'm not getting a shot or force something. And
Well, and in Zach's case too, he's not. This is just me saying, I wouldn't call him a great passer at this point out of the post.
Nope.
But he looks more inclined to do it than he did 5 games ago even.
He's really improved. He wants to pass. He sees it. He's and that's what we, the last 2 days, I watched some tape last night of him just kicking it out. I thought, in practice he made really good decisions. He made good decisions tonight, but what it does is gets you flustered a little bit. And then all of a sudden you catch at the foul line, and is there a double team coming? What am I doing? And, and he forced some drives. But both of those guys, we need to go after in practice. And because they're coming after those guys in Charlottesville, I can guarantee you that.
So what are you looking for the other 3 guys on the court with them then to do when the...
Well, they've got to help and be receivers and space and drive, and, we got to figure it out, and it's not anything of a pattern. I think, we move the ball pretty good. Our assisted turnover is good. Our big guys overall are pretty good with the ball. They know where the ball should go. But it's going to put Beecham, Bastoria, all those guys in some different spots. Yeah, and Matt Ryan. Yeah. He's got to be on the floor because, they're doubling, they leave somebody open. But I really think that segment is very important to develop the mental toughness and to really put those 2 guys in the heat of battle, which they will be in a lot after the new year. Thanks, guys. See ya in Indy.